Bernard, welcome back to Portland.
Thank you. My plasma.
Always nice. It's always nice to see you when you come through.
Yeah.
You can be at Jimmy Mac's, and of course, all the information is around the screen on the page here, so we don't have to go into all the details. But tell us about the band that you've brought that you're playing with.
Well, I'm very happy to have worked with Dave Henney. That's number one. Dave did a thing for me. He actually brought me back to creativity of just doing things wild. I mean, all of the unexpected that you can possibly think of. And it got to me like, wow, I haven't done this in 30, 35 years, because it was all about being creative and allowing you to do your thing, whatever it is that you needed to do. So I jumped on him. I said, okay, I like what you're doing, but I also need to know that some of the melody and things are going to be around. So I said, now, not to actually pin you down, I would like for Renato to be in to help, and he can take half of the melodies away, and because he is so good at what he does, he can lead you down that path so you can be a lot more freedom than having to worry about the super melodies.
Yeah.
And I says, that'll work out good. And then I told him, I said, well, I'm also working with a young man by the name of Jason Mallet Man Taylor. He said, yeah, I saw that on the video. I said, yes, we've been working together now. Since he's been with Lionel Hampton, he was with him for 12 years, and protege. So with everything that was taking place, it was good. Well, we've been having a good time because I've had 4 different bands that I've brought him in to perform with me. And I love every one of them. Every one of them. I just got to remember that we got to give him a little bit more space, because woo, when he goes, he goes. He's like the wild man. And it is really wonderful to see him do what he does. And it just makes my job so much easier. So I can lay back in the cut.
There you go.
Without hurting myself. And I do. I really do. And James, you can't go any better rhythm-wise, because he's just like me.
Yeah.
He sits where you're supposed to. We hold things together, and that's our job. So we work so well together as a team. It just makes my job so much easier.
Yeah. A lot of people don't think about it, but because it's such a melodic instrument, but vibes is a percussion instrument.
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
And you're going to see a whole lot of percussive sounds and playing and solos and everything else, right down to melodies with it.
Well, you talk about that other player going out, and but staying in because of Renato. Renato, in some kind of ways, is kind of like Rahsaan, because he can go both. He can go out and come right back and be just as soulful.
Yes, he can. Yeah. My first time playing with him turned me completely around, because his all-time favorite horn player was King Curtis.
You have some acquaintance with King Curtis, don't you?
Yeah. But he reminded me so much. And then on top of everything, he started playing and showing me his songs when he started playing them. He was King Curtis all over again. Wow. But he had his own feel. He had his own little sound that he was doing. And it really was Curtis, but yet he sparked it. He brought it slightly different. And I was like, wow, now this man's got a sound and a half, because there was no way of worrying about going through any changes. And I also just wanted to reiterate about Andrew, the bass player.
Yeah.
I always used to call him James, but it's Andrew. But I'm so happy about the way things have worked out. We've been doing things on and off now for about 4 or 5 years, whenever I come this way.
Since you did some working with James Brown, I want to ask you something. Because you, among all the people in the world will know the answer to this. I interviewed him way back when he still had the radio stations in the motels. You know what I'm saying?
Wow.
Yeah, because I'm from Baltimore, and he had a motel and a radio station
Yes,
there,
he
right?
did.
And I said to him, Mr. Brown, what is it that you do that makes people behave this way? And he just looked at me and said, kick off on the one and let the boogie do the rest. Now, what did he mean by that?
Simply because let him dance. That was always his whole motto. If the folks can't dance, nothing is going to get done, because he had to dance.
Yeah.
And you had to know where one was. That's been my whole life. That's what I teach. Always knowing where one is.
What do you mean by that? What is the one?
The one is where everyone feels and can touch what's going on. But it means that your feet and your body is going to be included with what's happening. Time-wise, you can go into space if you want to. You can go out. You can straight ahead. I don't care how you want to look at it. But when you know where one is, everybody will follow you, including the audience.
I take it you know where the one is.
I've finally learned.
Now, your patented lick. What is that called?
The Purdie Shuffle.
Yes. What is that?
What is it? It is actually all of the beats that a drummer can play, that he can muster up. But it has to be put within a context to fit like a glove. Not on top, not just touching, but it's got to fit like a glove. And that means that when you do it, it is not a 1-bar phrase. It is a 2-bar phrase to complete what the Purdie Shuffle is. Whole notes, half notes, quarter notes, eighth notes, 16ths, dotted, 32nd. Yes. And, of course, triplets. With those, we don't go and think of the 64th notes or the 128th note. We don't think because it's too fast. It just obliterates. But it's also the rebound.